Hello world! My name is Hugh Miller and I wanted to share with you today my Dragonstorm deck. This is a deck that is probably my favorite deck to play. So ever since Legacy kind of was taken off the Star City game circuit, and then the circuit sort of stopped with COVID. A lot of my friends who have been playing Legacy for a long time started playing Commander for fun together, and then we like playing with a lot higher power of cards, and so we started playing with competitive Commander. So when I was building this deck, I wanted a deck that was a sort of a storm deck, but didn't just play the Underworld Breach combo. I mean, it does have it in the deck, and I did play that in Storm before it got banned. It was ridiculous. I just ran the tables with it. But I wanted to have a deck where you just kind of played Ritual, Ritual, Ritual into Storm. And you can't really do that with Tendrils like you can in 1v1 because everyone starts with 40 life. So you have 120 life to somehow chew through, but conveniently, you only need Dragonstorm of Storm 3 with so 4 copies of Dragonstorm. And that was the solution. So ever since I've been doing that, and I figured that out, got the dragons all lined up. I've been doing that with my friends, and I've been having a ton of fun. A lot of people have asked me for my deck list. I've shared it with friends. They've made the same deck list or something similar, maybe tuned to a little bit of like them playing with me, but playing with other people. We've even had some friends make the deck in paper and bring it to their local cEDH groups that play for stores for prize, and I've done very well with it. And I've even emailed it to some random strangers on the internet who I was playing with and asked for my deck list. And so I just wanted to share this all with you, have somewhere to point to when someone asks me for my deck list. And without any further ado, let's get into it. Alrighty, Dragonstorm. So, what is this deck? Well, this is a 9 mana sorcery. It says search your library for a dragon permanent card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. We're going to play this as soon as turn 1. How are we going to do that? Well, we have a whole bunch of rituals in the deck, and the beauty of this deck is you only need to get 4 copies of Dragonstorm onto the stack to win. So how is that? Well, first dragon you're going to get is Latless, Dragon Queen. She's going to produce a dragon for each other dragon that comes into play. Then you're going to get Scourge of Valkus. It'll deal damage equal to the number of dragons you have. Then you're going to get Udvara Elfkite. That guy doubles your dragons when you attack. Then you get Dragon Lord Kolagon to give them all haste. Once you've gotten those 4 dragons, you attack. There's going to be enough damage that you're most likely not even going to need to deal combat damage. There's a couple other dragons in the deck. Notably, Terror of the Peaks is a replacement for Scourge. You know, maybe he dies, or maybe gets exiled, or maybe he's just stuck in your hand. And then I also have an extra dragon in the deck in Glorybringer. There could maybe be 1 or more other dragons in the deck. I've experimented here and there with them. You know, like Niv Mizzet, the one who can't be countered. Triple blue's pretty hard to just cast fairly, and if you're storming and going to win anyway, you really just need something else in the deck that has the creature type dragon to trigger all of the other combo dragons. So Glorybringer, he plays really great fair magic, especially if someone's trying to play fair magic by playing a whole bunch of taxes or prison-y pieces. He also is really good. 4 damage, just kills a lot of the fast, disruptive, or combo-y sorts of commanders. He just kind of keeps them off the battlefield, and he makes them answer him, and which just gives you more time to assemble your combo hand. We are playing a deck that plays a gigantic sorcery, and so we have a couple other gigantic sorceries to go along with it. We have Purity of the Abyss. It's pretty easy to ritual into this one. Enter the Infinite, you're not really ritualing into this one. This is definitely more of a Mizzix Mastery or Dream Hall's way of casting this card. But when you do, you know, you draw your deck, and then from there's no Oracle in the deck, but once you have your deck in your hand, you can kind of just ritual out and just hard cast the dragons and kind of just go from there. You can also just get Dream Halls into play and then start casting cards out of your hand. These 3 cards down here are kind of like the easy mode of the deck. We got Treasonous Ogre, Mizzix Mastery, and Dream Halls. If you're playing versus a lot of counter magic, the line is really Treasonous Ogre. A lot of the counter magic and competitive lists typically is non-creature, And so getting the Ogre into play, paying that 27 life to get to 9 mana, and then casting Dragonstorm, which is resilient to counter magic by itself, is a good way to kind of sidestep some of the counter magic that you can interact with, and it's just a very quick, easy win when it happens. You also got the other, standard rituals. Jessica's Will, I think, is even better in this deck because of our commander. Commander is mostly just Rograk. He is the 0-cost commander. He gets you that first storm count. He also is really good with sacrifice effects. So we both have both Infernal Plunge and Culling the Weak here inside the deck. Often Culling the Weak plus a couple of turns going by is enough to cast Fury into the Abyss, and then from there, use what other cards you have at your disposal to kind of combo off. If you're going to play in a tournament, definitely add Thassa's Oracle. But if you're just playing with friends, I actually recommend you just keep it out of the deck. Force yourself to figure out how to get into those Dragonstorm lines. The Thassa's Oracle does require some tutoring to get, and so because of that, if you can just gain access to Dragonstorm, a lot of times since the deck is built to cast Dragonstorm anyway, the fastest wins are almost always Dragonstorm. Notable exceptions here in the Mox area is really just Mox Diamond. We're playing a pretty low land count, and then also Mox Opal, because there's just not enough artifacts. Oftentimes they just didn't do enough, and so I got rid of it. So that's Plan A. Plan A is Dragonstorm. Plan B-ish is Peer into the Abyss and Enter the Infinite, casting them off of your rituals or casting them off of your cheating effects. One thing that, depending upon your metagame, maybe you don't play Dream Halls. I play a lot online or with friends that play more fair decks. So Dream Halls, if you're playing versus a lot of counter magic, say at your local game store or something like that, maybe you play it, maybe you don't. When you do use it, you need to immediately cast Dragonstorm, because Dragonstorm is a sorcery speed spell, and Dream Halls won't last long. It also turns all counter spells into Force of Will, essentially, which means that you're probably only going to get a couple Storm out of your Dragonstorm. Just be prepared for a fight. But if you are playing versus just linear combo decks, Dream Halls is one of those cards that just allows you to be faster and easier and more consistent versus other combo decks that might not have as much interaction as you, or just need a little more time to set up. Plan C of the deck is the Reanimation package. We do have a Jin-Gitaxias in here along with Consecrated Sphinx and the Leviathan to bounce everything. There's a really cute interaction with Leviathan and the enchantment magic where you reanimate the Leviathan. It bounces everything, it bounces the enchantment, and then you have the enchantment back in your hand to do it again next turn if you want, and you even have Necromancy to do it at instant speed if you would like. These are definitely something to consider too if there's a lot more counter magic. It's a lot more resources to commit in terms of reanimation, maybe add some more card draw and looting effects depending upon your local meta, so that you can more reliably put those creature cards into the graveyard without having to entomb them or use the new card Unmarked Grave. Another reason why Consecrated Sphinx is in the deck is because I wanted another creature that when it came into play, you drew a whole bunch of cards, and that's why the Sphinx has made the deck. I also have a lot of removal you'll see here, and more removal actually than counter magic. It's just a reflection of my metagame. My friends all play Death and Taxes creatures, and a lot of them, and Winota will kill you like by turn 3 if you don't do something about her. There's a lot of anti-counter magic in that deck, as well as a whole bunch of Taxes pieces, and you need either Wrath effects or bounce or steal effects early on. Oftentimes the counter magic isn't really doing the job in that matchup. Really only Force of Will counters the creatures, and a lot of the other counter magic is mostly just to fight the counter war on your turn, defending your own combo turn. For this reason, I kind of go back and forth. Mana Drain is a notable exclusion right now. I have Force and Negation in there. I kind of go back and forth. Neither Mana Drain nor Force and Negation can be cast on your own turn. Mana Drain kind of requires a lot of setup. You're kind of trying to combo pretty quickly. Force and Negation also can't be cast on the combo turn. So, maybe like Swan Song could be better, or Flusterstorm. I kind of tweak and play with the list a lot. This is by no means like a finished, perfect list. I just wanted to really put this list out there so people can start having fun with it. Usually when I play with people and they see my list and they see that I'm Dragonstorming, they ask for the list, and so here it is. Here's a starting point, and go nuts, go nuts. For the card draw, we do have some looting effects so that we can get those creatures in our hands into the graveyard for reanimation. We also have some, just the standbys of card draw and tutoring. Some really cool card that we get to play pretty much for free is Diabolic Intent. We just get a second Demonic Tutor, easy peasy. And then we also have these wheel effects. We play a lot of wheel effects because we put a lot of resources into casting Dragonstorm, and sometimes you put a lot of resources into it and they stop you. And now you don't have cards, and you need to get back into the game. And the wheel effects, they do that. It also gets everyone else back into the game. So to hopefully mitigate that a little bit, we're also playing Notion Thief and Narset. Hopefully they can not only make it so that you're not bringing your opponents back into the game, but it can sometimes just be a win condition in and of itself when you wheel with one of these in play. The mana base is certainly one of the biggest places to improve for the deck. It is pretty low, but that's par for the course when you're playing Storm. And funny enough, all of these nice expensive lands that I've accrued over the many years of playing, I've been playing since 2007, and playing a lot of Legacy during that time. The two lands that I tutor for by far the most are actually the basic island and the basic swamp. My friends also like to play a lot of Blood Moon, and that's just something that I interact with on a regular basis. And so getting the basics into play is a high priority. I usually just play one of the two, low land count. Beyond that, you just want the lands to cast your spells, be really good mana fixing. You often only have maybe 1-2 lands in play by the time the game is over. And that could still be pretty late, but there's a lot that you can do on very low land count in this deck. And that's the deck. I hope you all enjoy it. I just really wanted to put this out there. I get asked for the deck list, and my friends have made it. Some friends have made it in paper, taken it to tournament, done well. And I just want you all to have it, play with it. If you ever play Silas and actually cast him, you're probably in trouble. This is definitely just Rograth Dragonstorm, and happy storming.